Hello and welcome to Writing Wednesday. I'm Coach Brenda Harris. So happy to be here today to talk to you about organizing your ideas. And today we have not only 3 tips for you, but 4 free tools for you. So I'm going to grab the link to that so that you can easily download those and follow along if you wish. I will post that. Hopefully it will let me post it live while we're here. Sometimes it doesn't let us post. Let's see if it'll let me edit this one because that would be very helpful if it did. Let's see. Edit. Sometimes it doesn't let me post a link while I'm live. So let me edit this one. When I hit return, it just returns it. I don't want to do that. Probably not going to let me do it while we're live. So we'll have to add it at the end. Oh, wait, look. Let me do it there. Okay, it's the weird link at the top. It's not going to do it. Ah! Don't you just love it when you're trying to do something live and it doesn't want to work? Isn't it lovely? It's just lovely. Let's see if we can do a space there. That will get us there, I think. All right. It should be, it's the, yes, the first link at the top should be the 4 free tools. Okay. And I'll have to probably clean that up later. Hopefully it will work. Okay. So today we're talking about organizing your ideas. And this is one of the things that keeps writers, for one, from, setting aside the time to write. They're like, I don't have time, because in their mind, they don't, right? It's all an unorganized mess. And the other thing is it creates writer's block, right? That disorganization creates writer's block for us. And so we're just like, I don't even know where to start, so I can't start, right? So we have to use some tools and be creative and get organized so that we can move forward. So we're going to discuss our 3 tips, and then we're going to discuss our 4 free tools. I've actually printed them out because I'm old school like that, and we will go through them together briefly because we usually try to keep Writing Wednesdays to 30 minutes, so we don't want to go too long. Okay? All right. If you're here watching live, let me know. Do you feel unorganized or crazy chaos? Which camp do you fit in? Organized, crazy, chaos. And we're talking about in your writing life, not in the rest of your life, because if you're like me, I feel organized in my writing life, a little crazy and chaotic in other parts of my life. So today we're focusing on your writing life specifically. Okay. Tip number 1 is to create an outline. And some of you, I can hear you right now. I don't like outlines. I don't want an outline. I just want to free write. I just want to sit down and dream all up whatever I'm writing as I go. Well, an organized outline is going to help you from that writer's block. If you can sit down and think about it this way, think about it as free writing your outline. Okay, so sit down and just write out an outline. Don't overthink it. Just kind of write down the order of operation, if you will, the order of things that you think need to go in your book. Then you have an outline. Okay, it may not be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We don't have to spend 400 hours on an outline. Okay, just get a glimpse of what you should be including in your book. Then what happens when it's time to write, if you're feeling, oh, I don't know where to start, or where should I, think about it as your to-do list. Like your outline is literally your to-do list for your book. You're going to go to your outline. You're going to be like, there I am. I'm on this step right here. Or this is my next task item, right? So your outline then becomes like a to-do list for you. Okay, let me look at the comments here and see if anybody's confessed to, oh, look at those crazy comments with all those tools everywhere. Okay. Starting to get the writing part organized, Kim says, in the crazy chaos of everything else. Right? Life feels crazy chaotic right now. The writing part has felt chaotic until recently. Thank goodness. Oh, yay, yay. Anything you can contribute into this conversation, Kim, on what was the recent? What brought it back together for you? Was it one of these Writing Wednesdays? Was it, maybe you came up with another idea. Maybe you just refocused. What was it for you? Maybe it was the the idea we talked about a few weeks ago about publishing your book on the same day as you published your book last time and kind of rolling that out. So let me know if you have one specific thing that you can kind of pinpoint it to. Hey, Lisa. Lisa says she's here and she's somewhere in between. Lisa, I actually thought about you when I was putting together this talk because I know that you mentioned this is kind of where you're like, I just need help. I have my story, I know my story, and I just need help like bringing it all together. And so I do want you to go into our content library and watch the training on framework because I know that that will help you, the Jelly framework. Um, Go in there and check out that training, download it, go through that. That's going to help you a lot as well as some of the tips I have for you today. Okay. Quick sip there. Okay, so if you're wondering about an outline, the very basic for your outline, you can actually find in one of our free tools. If you're in my community, you have these, or you should have these already as well. They're in the content library, but it's the standard order of a book's interior. If anything else, start with this, right? Just start with this. Write this in your Google Doc. Like, I need endorsements. I need my half title page, my title page. Like, this is a place you can start organizing your thoughts. You will need these things in your book. This is the way I do it. If you're in my community, you have a free template for this. Okay, so go into the community library, look up standard order. It should be under the foundationals. Grab that template. When you open it up, you're in the right-hand corner. It should say template. Use this template or something. Click it, and then it becomes yours, and you can go in and modify it. So literally what I do every time I start a book, and I have over 80 on my to be written list. So I have started this process over 80 times, okay? Because each of those books has this document in action. So I've opened that standard order. I put in my working title. I may, in the endorsement section, I may write some names of people who I think can endorse that book if I want endorsements. I then start down this list and start filling in the blanks, okay? The same thing with you. And then as ideas pop for that book, I literally go in and plug them right into this document, all my ideas. Sometimes as I've fleshed out chapters, I will put the idea directly in the chapter it goes. If I don't have a chapter for it, I'll just dump it at the end of the document so I know that all of it's there for me to use. But each of my books has this template in action, okay? So you need the standard order. Then at the end of the process, you're that much further along and you have all the components you're going to need to move your book forward. Now, some people may be going, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to include, let's see, a glossary and definitions in my book. I don't need that. Great. Check it off. You're done. You don't need it. Delete it out of your template. If you're using the template, check it off the list here, cross it out, whatever makes you feel good, right? We like to check to-do lists off, but you can cross it out. Dawn, I don't know if Dawn's here today. She just finished up her interior design. Yay, Dawn, you're that much closer to publication of her forthcoming book, Redeem Your Roots. And I'm positive she wouldn't mind me sharing that because she's so excited about it. But guess what? In that book, she has included definitions. She has a glossary. So this has told her where that glossary should fall in the order of operations here. You want to include your back ads, your about the author, all those good things, okay? So this is standard. Now, standard doesn't mean like you're not going to, and I can say this as a Christian, we're not going to go to hell, okay? We're just not if we don't follow this. It's not that kind of law, okay? It's not that, we're just not, okay? But this is the standard in the industry. So what happens is your readers expect to see things in this order. Sometimes we move things out of order. It used to be that acknowledgments went in the front of your book. Because of Amazon, we've moved those to the end of the book so that people don't want to necessarily read those when they're making a determination to buy your book or not. They may want to read them after they get to know you and they love your book. And obviously the people acknowledged want to read those. So we put those at the end of your book. Why? Because Amazon shows the first 25% of your book, 20 to 25% of your book. And you want to make sure that whatever's showing on that Amazon page is impactful, is helping the reader make a buying decision, right? Whether that book's for them or not. So use your standard order of operations. If you are not part of my community, you can download it under the free link I dropped today for you, okay? So use that. That should be your basic outline, okay? let's see. I always try to work from an outline. Good, Jan. However, sometimes I don't do that well. You know what? That's okay. Starting with it and practicing with it is even better and better, right? The more we can get in the habit of it. And anything that will trigger, it doesn't have to be this, you know how when we were in school and you had to have, you know, indented this much and the A's and the Roman numerals and the no, we don't need all that. We just need an outline. If it is literally 6 words that are going to move you forward in your book, think about where you're taking that reader. What are you taking? How are you taking them? If it's 6 words and you're like, okay, the first step I need to take my reader is they need to identify whatever. Then they need to maybe acknowledge something. Then what are the words that are going to move them through that are going to prompt you to write that section of the book? That's what you need. You don't overcomplicate an outline. I'm not saying you are, Jan, but I'm just saying I'm giving you freedom and permission not to. Okay, Kim says, honestly, I didn't like the path my writing. Oh, I saw a post on that. So I paused and let God read. I reached out to a trusted source and discovered there was freedom in my format. And because of that, I felt the outline come more. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's exactly what happened to me in my first book. And I think I've shared this to you guys before, but in Save the Buttertubs, I was like trying to hang on to it so tight. I was like, I got to hold on to this book. I can't include anything about faith because my grandmother wasn't boisterous about her faith. She's the inspiration behind this book, so I can't. And then one of my friends said, whose book is this anyway? And as soon as I released it to God, it just dumped. And I went from 9 struggling chapters to 16 total, my introduction plus 15 chapters total. I'm just noticing that this goes up here. Anyway, I went from 9 to 15 that quickly. So you can do the same, right? Release that book over to God. Who asked you to write it to begin with, and see what he leads, where he leads. So dive in. Okay, so that's tip number 1 and tool number 1. All right, tip number 1, create an outline. Tool number 1 is the standard order. That is the basic kind of starting point, right? Tip number 2 is to use mind mapping tools. I have not ever used this app, but apparently there's an app called MindMeister or MindMeister, M-E-I-S-T-R, however you say that. And it's all put together. So that's why my mind's going, ah! But it's Mind, okay? M-I-N-D-M-E-I-S-T-R. Or go back to the old pen and paper, mind mapping, brainstorming, whatever you want to call it, and actually just sit down and do that. Maybe thinking about something this way, I can never say that word, linear. I said it. Thinking about something linear may boggle your mind, right? It's kind of the difference between a numbers person and a word person. Maybe you're a numbers person, so linear makes good sense to you, and you're like, I want to go from point A to point B. Maybe you're not a numbers person, okay? I am not. I perfectly like to go old school, big bubble in the middle, write out the problem I'm trying to solve for my reader, and then just start drawing spider web legs off and really just brain dump on a sheet of paper. I like that old school style. Then I take that information over to my standard order document, which then becomes, I don't call it that anymore, right? The standard order document, when I open that template, I name it for that book. Then if you want to know more organizational tips, I copy the link and I go and put it in my spreadsheet that has all the books, all my future books, right? So it's linked there. So if I'm ever like, this happens, you guys, when you have over 80, sometimes you're like, what was the name of that book? What did I name it? I don't know. So you can't even search it in your own files, right? But because I have a list of all the books that I want to write, I can just go and look, and they're all linked there, okay? So I rename that document to be that. So after you've done your mind mapping, whether that's on an app or whether that's on your own free mind mapping, and here's the thing. I know, Dawn, you're almost done with your book, right? We're in interior, like, you might be feeling like, oh, it's too late. And I don't know if Dawn's watching today, but you might feel like it's too late to do any of this. It's not, right? You still have time to make tweaks. You still have time to add things. Maybe what you add is a free bonus. Maybe what you add is marketing tools. Maybe, right? So doing this, you might brainstorm in this way. So if you were me, you draw the circle, put what you're trying to solve for the reader, and then just start let God work through you, just dump it all out. Then you take that information and you put it in that, what was the standard order, which now is your title document for your book. You put it in there in whatever order you can muster up, right? So sometimes you're like, I don't know what comes first. You just put it all in there. And then as you start working through it, you'll start moving those things around. This is where knowing how to use your Google Doc and your title function in your Google Doc is really helpful, because if you make things titles, like these headers, you make them actually headers or title font, they will populate in your table of contents and you can easily move between each one. So, extra bonus tips, who knows? I feel like we should be counting all the extra bonus tips that are coming out of this, because it's not just 3 tips and 4 tools. It's like tip, 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 tip. Okay. Does that help? Tell me if you are more of a linear processor or if you're a brain dumper and you just like to write it all out. Because I am a processor, I actually kind of consider myself a process queen. I love breaking down processes. I can do a linear. I can do that. But sometimes I just need the old school bubble and the drawing. And that's for really when I'm just like, this is a cool idea, but I don't know where it's going, right? So sometimes that middle might not even have anything. I'm just drawing off, trying to focus, bring in what's supposed to be in the middle, right? What is the problem I'm trying to solve? I don't know. Let me just think of all the things I want to say in my story, and then where's it going to go, right? So you may do a reverse. Now, if you have your book written, Kim, you're working on it. Dawn, you're done. I would encourage you to do 1 or 2 of these different brain mind mapping exercises so that you can make sure you didn't leave anything out, right? And some new stuff might come to surface. If you did leave anything out and you're to the point where Dawn is, where you're like in interior design already, you can then take that content and do something else with it. You can make an opt-in. You can use it in your marketing. You can give it a freebie away at your book launch, or for people who buy your book and send you the receipt or whatever, right? There's so many tips that are just coming out today. I feel like it should be Tip Tuesday, but it's not. It's Writing Wednesday. So let's focus on what's next for writing. Okay, let me catch up with the comments. Jan says she is a brain dumper. Kim, brain dumper. Oh, look at all these word girls. Brain dumpers. Love it. I love it. You know what? I've been seeing you guys commenting on each other's posts, and I love that, by the way. Okay, so that is tip number 2. We're going to talk about tool number 2 as well. And you may go, well, wait a minute. These don't necessarily go together. Oh, but wait, they do. Okay. So tool number 2, and you guys, again, have access to all of these tools in our content library, or you can download this new set. It's the same stuff. This back cover copy template is so important. And this could then become part of your outline. Part of your, this information that goes on this form can be so useful for so many different reasons. If you nail this one sheet, if you nail these components, it can become marketing information. It becomes your back cover copy. It becomes your description on Amazon. It can become part of your outline, and vice versa. So if you are writing this and your book is done, you should be making sure that these bullets come from your chapters. Like, for those of you who don't have this and aren't following along, the bullets are, you're listing the benefits for your reader. You need to make sure that each chapter has some kind of benefit in it. Why should they read this chapter? Now, you don't need to, especially if you have 16 chapters, you don't need to list every single chapter, right? And be like, but you can. You could totally do it when you're working on this. And then you can start putting like things together, right? And not that you have to make your chapters different, but your back cover, you only get 250 words for the whole back cover of your book. So you want to make sure that you keep things succinct and nice. So for example, if your book has 16 chapters and you want to start doing that, okay? Now, I did my bullets a little bit different on the back of this book, because I did them like this. I said, are you feeling? And I put 3 bullets. And then I said, instead of wondering if you matter, you will feel. And then I put 3 bullets, right? So we went from, this is basically in part 1 of my book. There's 5 chapters, but the underlying, I'm taking people from what they need to trash to what they need to treasure in order to transform their life and legacy. In the part about what they need to trash. They are feeling defeated, discouraged, distracted. So I've summed up 5 chapters with 3 words. And then on the end of it, right, the transformation, where I want to take them, I want them to be fulfilled, fearless, and focused. Okay, so I've summed up 5 chapters into 3 words. Boom, boom. So you want to make sure that somewhere on your back cover you can encapsulate all of that information. Okay, so it doesn't have to. Obviously, I'm not listing all 15 chapters here. I'm not giving away the gold on the back, but you need to make sure that you are giving the reader the actual benefits of reading what's inside. Okay, and so it's a good checks and balance system, and you can do it at the beginning to help you outline, or you can do it at the end to be kind of a test almost, right? A checks and balance. You'll write your back cover copy, you'll go back through, and your hook at the top is kind of you're hooking them with the problem you're trying to solve for them. We're talking about fiction. Nonfiction. If you're writing fiction, whole different backstory, right? We're trying to hook them in a different way with a compelling, strong character and the problem your character has, right? In nonfiction, we are the characters and our readers are the characters. So we are hooking our reader with asking them a question that touches on their pain point. Then we're going through, right? Now, when we're going through this part, we want to make sure that it all adds up to that question. So you can do this at the end of your book, or you can do it at the beginning of your book. Whatever you do, and I can hear the collective sighs of writers around the world if they figure out that this is basically, because sometimes I hear this a lot. It's harder, and I may have even posted this. It is harder to write 250 words about my 60,000 word book than it was to write the 60,000 word book. Why? Because we are trying to summarize 60,000 words into 250. But it doesn't have to be that way. Don't think of it as a summary. Think about it as the highlight, almost the highlight reel, right? You're taking each chapter and you're just kind of boop, 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 boop. So whether you do it on the front end or the back end, it can then become an outline or a reverse outline. Okay. So there you have your mind mapping tool, if you want, almost in reverse, right? So you can use this almost as a mind mapping tool. Okay. So that's what we're on. Tip 2, tool 2. Okay. Now, tool number 3 is called the Author Talk Checklist. And some people may be like, what? I don't even have a book out. Why am I writing an author talk checklist? Why am I even going down this list and doing this? I don't even have a book out yet. Again, going through this is going to start helping you flesh out the things that you need to start talking about, the things that you need to start thinking about. Now, this checklist is more for you when you are actually booking an event and checking off the details. I do have, I'm trying to think if I put that in the content library for you guys or not. I know I sell it for $7 over on my website, but it should be in the content library for you guys for free. So remind me to put it there if it's not. If you have not seen the author talk, how to create your author talk in the content, I don't think it's there. I think I need to go put it over there for you guys. If you're not in my library, if you're not part of my community, you can buy it over on brendahare.com in the shop for $7. And it's the creating your author talk. Now, together, these 2 pieces are going to start helping you visualize where you're going as an author. You're going to start thinking through all the components that you need or don't need. Now, you may be like, well, let's just talk about what an author talk is, first of all. An author talk is exactly what Kim has been doing, right? It's what Dawn is going to be doing soon regarding her specific book. She does it all the time on her first book. Let me read some comments here. Dawn says, after the cover, people will consider buying based on the back. Yes, exactly. Based on the back cover copy. They'll look at your cover first and they'll say, does this intrigue me? Does it invite me in? That's why Dawn's about to go to a poll, you guys. And if you want to help her out, follow Dawn on Facebook. She's going to go to a poll with her cover choices. And then when I talked to her about this, I said, be sure to ask for the emotions that the cover evokes when people select it. It's not enough. You don't want people to just say, "Oh, I like number 1. I like number 3. I like," you don't want that. That's not helpful, okay? You want them to say, "I like number 1. It makes me feel blah blah blah. I like number 1. It makes me think about blah blah blah." Because if it makes them think, okay, so Dawn's made it very clear to me that her new book, Redeem Your Roots, is not a genealogy book, and it's not. If someone says, "Oh, that's great. I'm going to give this to my sister. She's all into genealogy. She'll love it. She's been studying," then you know that cover is not the cover, right? We're going down the wrong path. That's not what we want to evoke from our readers. So getting that feedback is so 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 helpful. And so the cover says so much, but then the back cover kind of polishes it all and helps them make that buying decision, right? But on this cover poll, it's just the front covers. So help Dawn out with that. Okay, let's see. We are certainly characters, some more than others. So true, Dawn. Okay. Oh, yeah, she'll be posting it tomorrow. Yeah, you guys get ready to help Dawn out with that. And Dawn, feel free to post it in our community as well as on your public page. If our community's not following you, they should be. Be sure to follow each other, guys, and support each other in this. It's so helpful. Okay, so let's talk about an author talk and what that actually is. And we're going to go over today, just FYI. An author talk is where you learn to communicate about your book, whether that's in 2 minutes in an elevator, or whether that's 5 minutes at a book signing, or whether it's a whole keynote. When you design your author talk and you start scheduling these, if that's what you want to do with your book, you'll need this checklist as well as the other component on how to write it. Now, if you're not thinking about being a speaker at all, that's okay. You still need to know how to talk about your book. You still need to know how to talk about your book. It's probably one of the most intimidating things as authors. That's why some people struggled to make their author pages for a long time, and some of our authors still haven't done it. I think everybody on here has, so yay, action takers. If you don't have an author page and you're not starting to talk about your content, you are losing traction on building your audience. Tip, tip, tip. You are not getting comfortable with your content. The other day, somebody asked me a question. They said, how do you have so much content to talk about on your socials all the time? You go live every Wednesday. And I said, "Are you familiar with the publishing industry?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "I am." There's a lot to talk about. We could literally, like, I could hold a week-long conference and we still wouldn't touch it all, right? There's just so many details. But because I talk about it all the time, because I'm living and breathing it, because books are my world, literally, I mean, if you saw my office right now, I have a stack of books 3 feet high across the other room for altered book things that we're going to be working on under retreat. I've got books behind me. I've got book boxes everywhere. And right before I got on this call, the last items for the boxes came. Yay! So boxes will be shipping very soon. I'm so excited. Probably in the mail by Friday. I just have to package them all up. So super excited. It's a little later than I normally wanted to do it, but I wanted to make sure I save that deadline. Anyway, that's off topic completely. Okay, so we've been through our 3 tools so far. We got one more tool left, and we have one more tip left. So finally, our tip is to break it down, right? When you're thinking about organizing something, break it down. And here's the thing. I am not a fan of writing one chapter over here and one chapter over here, and I just cannot function that way. I tried in the beginning when I very first started writing Save the Buttertubs. I tried, like, I didn't know how to maneuver between documents, and so within a document. So I tried, every chapter had its own document so that I could easily jump to that. It makes me want to vomit just thinking about it. Bad memories from that. Ugh. Nobody has time for that. I don't have time for that. However, if it will help you focus on writing that one chapter, to take that chapter and move it in its own document, or maybe just start it in a fresh document, if it will help you focus, do that. Break it down. Take it apart. Take it out, right? Focus on just that. Maybe what you need to do is take it offline altogether. So you're not distracted by me showing up on your socials. You're not distracted by lives. You're not distracted by all the reels, all the things that are out there to distract us, your emails blinking, your whatever, right? maybe you need to take it offline and break it down. Maybe you need to focus on that one chapter offline so that you can keep your focus. Maybe you look at your outline and you're like, okay, today's writing is chapter 3 and it is about blah, blah, blah. I need to take that over here to my notebook so I can focus because I cannot be online. Or I need to shut everything else down and just go into one Word document over here by itself, or Pages if you're a Mac girl, over here by itself, so that I cannot be online. I'm not in my Google Doc right now. I'm not. You can always copy and paste it over, right? But if it's, you need to break it down to focus, you've got to do it, right? You've got to figure out what it is that's going to move the needle forward for you, or you're never going to get this book written. Brings us to tool number 4. And here's the funny thing about this, guys. This is how funny God is. These tips came weeks ago. I have mapped out every Writing Wednesday from now until eternity. Not eternity, but for a year. I did a year's worth of Writing Wednesday content so that I could easily move through it. I batched it, right? Tip number 405. I batched the Writing Wednesday content ideas so that I have the ideas ready to go for any given week, because I can't, I'm moving so fast between week to week. It's hard for me to, stop, say, oh, what am I going to talk about today? However, it's fluid. That's why I don't post them out weeks and weeks at a time. It's fluid because if something were to come up, I want to be able to talk about it, right? If there's something specific that one of my authors is going through, maybe I'll address that on the Writing Wednesday. So it is fluid, so I don't post them that far in advance. However, I've thought about doing it at least a month in advance so that you guys know what's coming, but who knows? We'll see. But the funny part is I didn't plan today's with these tools until, I don't know, whenever I sent the email out this morning. And I was like, you know what? I have these tools that go perfect with this. This is perfect. And it is perfect because we're talking about breaking it down. And tool number 4 is your goal map. And if you have not been with us for very long here at Publish and Tell, you know that we live and breathe, we being me. But this was created back when I had a business partner, and we use this together, but I still use it by myself. It is a fantastic tool to break down your goal and to make sure that you're on track. And I want you guys to use this, whether you're in my community or not. Print it out and use it. Literally walk through. So what is your goal? Is your goal to finish your book by a certain date? Put the due date. What problem does this solve? Don't just put, I'll finally have a book out. No, get real about it. What problem does this solve? This book is going to help people. So if I was doing this for my next book, well, 2 books, okay, because right now I'm focused on 2. And God's saying, no, focus on 1. Let's just talk about the purpose process is my next book. What problems does it solve? It helps people understand their purpose and how everything else falls in place. That's the problem it solves. It's not the problem of me finally writing the book. It's helping. What is the real problem that accomplishing this solves, right? What solution does it provide? It provides a tangible, written, I don't want to say companion, but it's almost like it's a spotlight on part of the Bible that maybe people overlook, or that maybe they haven't ever read, or people are so misled by different things, and this is highlighting one scripture that's going to bring it all home for them. Coordinates. Okay. How is this moving me in the direction of my author vision? Well, my author vision includes a library of over 80 books. This is moving me in that forward there personally, but it also includes awakening dry bones, and this is moving my readers in that direction, right? It's helping awaken them. So 2 different coordinates there, and this is how specific you want to be. Sorry, I'm having a hot flash, you guys. Am I turning pink? Hot flash. Don't you just love middle age? It's so fun. One memento. Woo! Hot flash. Anybody else hot flashing out there? That's better. Okay, hot flash is still here. Let's see. We got some comments coming in, I think. Let's see what we got here. Oh, same comments. My thing just catching up with me. Okay. Does it help you with your goal map? Does it help you start thinking about how to break it down? Here's the thing also. This is really good no matter where you are in the process. So for Dawn, her goal map may include a launch. It may be, Lisa says always. Hot flashing, Lisa? Always. Sometimes, Lisa, I know Lisa very well, and she's cold all the time. Sometimes, Lisa, my hands and my nose and my toes are always cold, and I'm thinking I could just cool myself off with my cold feet, like right now putting my foot against my leg. Anyway, you want to use this where you are in the process. So wherever that is for you, if you're in the middle of a book, if you're at the end of the book, if you're about to launch, whatever that is, what is your immediate goal? Now, the timing that you put on this could be for the rest of the quarter. You could say, what is my goal from now until Christmas? What's my Christmas present to myself? Like, make a goal map. What's your Christmas present to yourself? What's the one thing that you want to accomplish between now and Christmas? Make that your goal map, okay? If you need more than one because you have a few goals you want to get to, fantastic. I don't want you to go over 3 though. 3 is a lot, okay? I don't want you to do more than 3. 3 is a lot, especially we're already mid-October, you guys. We're already mid-October, okay? All right, so measurables, you want to get real specific. Quantity, maybe you're in the writing stage. You're going to get real specific. I want to hit 40,000 words by Christmas. I want to get through chapter 6 by Christmas, whatever that is for you. For me, my measurable for this book is I want it to be complete with at least over 20,000 words by, my deadline is sooner than Christmas. I don't know it off the top of my head because it's on my calendar. Because I got to get it to editing. And then the accomplished with, that's when this comes in, right? So my ultimate goal is going to be a release date up here of beginning of December. And then we're going to fill it in, all right? So accomplished with, if I'm going to publish, okay, that's my ultimate goal is publish. Then accomplished with, I need an editor. I need my book designer. I need, right, all the things. So editor, in here, I need to make sure. So then I need to reach out and make sure that she's available, right? Is she going to be available between now and Christmas to get to my 40,000 word book or 20,000 word book? Got to make sure. So you want to put your accomplished with. If it's just accomplished with Publish and Tell Writing Community, then that means you're showing up every week for our Writing Wednesdays. You're showing up for Q&A in our community, in our private community. Twice a month, you're showing up for those, right? And so that becomes, how are you accomplishing this? Put it on here. If it's launch, Dawn's launching, maybe she needs accomplished with a launch team. Is she having an event? Who is she working with, right? And then you want the process too. So step 1, Dawn, have you picked a date? Do you have a venue in mind? Are you going to be doing online only? Who's interviewing you? Like start fleshing it out, right? And then what are your steps to completion? What does done look like, and describe it. Don't just say done's, the book's in my hand. Describe what it looks like. The book is in my brand colors. It fits with its, the purpose process is the final book in this series. So it would be, I'm completing a series. That's what done looks like. I'm completing a series. It's coordinated with these colors, and so on and so on and so on. Okay. Then you want to take those milestones that you've created here and put them on your calendar. Get them on your calendar so that you're actually doing the work. Okay. Use your goal map. Break it down. Break it down. That's how you're going to be organized. All right. So if you're following along, I'm going to give you your 3 tips and then your 4 tools. And then we're out of here because we've gone over time already. And today is that Q&A coaching call, so we will see you again at the top of the hour to do coaching if you're inside the community. If you're not inside the community and you want to be on that coaching call, well, join the community right now. All right, the link's in the comments, right? Okay, 3 tips. The 3 tips is to create your outline, even if you don't like outlines. Make it simple. Keep it simple. Use mind mapping tools, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's an app, pen and paper, whatever that looks like. If you need to draw a diagram, do the old school bubbles, however, spider webs, whatever that looks like for you. And then tip number 3 was to break it down. Break it down into sections. Pull the book apart. If you need to move chapters out of a distracting area, being online or whatever, do that, okay? And then obviously our 4 tools. So if you haven't grabbed these, if you're in our community, get them. If you're not in our community, the link to get them for free is here. They are the free tools that come with this book as well. I've been told I should write a book. If you are in that stage, grab that book. And if you're in the book writing process, grab that stage. Some great calculators come with that one. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints. Let's hear it. What you got? Where is everybody? Let's see. I'm thinking about small live event and a stream it on Facebook. Okay, question for you, Dawn, and I know this is total coaching and we'll get to that in a minute, because I do want to coach you through your launch timeline and all of that stuff. So think about this. If hopefully you'll be at the top of the hour on the next call in our community, but will you have books on hand for that launch? Because that's going to help us in determining your launch date so that you can actually get those books in your hand. Okay. Let's see. I feel that too, Brenda. Cold hands, but far too warm, Courtney. Right now my toes are frozen and the rest of me is like on fire. It's crazy land. Crazy land. Okay. Thank you guys for being here today for another Writing Wednesday. I so enjoy coming to you and sharing with you. And I know it seems like a blast of information at one time. Okay, Jan, you're going to your writers meeting, Jan? Is that what you're doing? Can't catch up. I'm thinking of are you in the writing group with Brenda? I can't remember. Can't be on the next call, but we'll catch up in the library. Okay. Awesome. Catch up in the library and we'll see you next Wednesday. And thanks for the heads up on about Tuesday. And that reminds me, if you want a writing session and you're part of my community, be sure that you checked your email. You get that writing session for free. It's a 6-hour session next Tuesday. We start at 10 a.m. We hop on for a quick kind of debrief on what are you working on? What is your goal for today? What do you hope to do? And I give you a little bit of that in upcoming emails after you join, like how to prepare. But it's quick and furious, right? We get on 30 minutes. We're like, okay, this is what we're working on. Boom, boom, boom. And then we go and write for 2 hours. And when I say get on, we get on Zoom. We see each other's faces. We hold each other accountable. Then we go write for 2 hours. Then we come back. And what usually happens is we talk about what that felt like. How hard was that? How many distractions came our way? What kind of distractions came our way? Did we plow through? Did we make our goal? All of those things. Then we talk about how we're gonna overcome that to sit for another 2 hours and work, and we go back for 2 more hours and write, and then we wrap up with a debrief overall. If you're part of my community, you get that for free. You got an email with the link, with the code to get it for free, but I do need you to register so I know who's coming, and that's also how you get the Zoom link. If you're not in my community, you have 2 choices. You can either join the community, which is the Publish and Tell community, or you can pay $25 to be part of that session for the day. And that's next Tuesday, starting at 10 a.m. Central. So cannot wait to see you guys then. I will see the rest of you in the community at the top of the hour, and the rest of you guys next Wednesday. Okay? You guys take care, and I will see you very soon. All right. That's going to wrap us up. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here.